Howdy and welcome back. I'm Oliver the Shoe Man, and today we will be going over what in the world a toe plate is, or a French tip. So when you have a pair of shoes with kind of a narrowed toe, your foot doesn't sit all the way up here, kind of sits like right here. So when you walk, even though you're walking normally, you naturally kind of drag the tip of the boot along the floor, which wears out the tips of the toes prematurely. You can see the soles are nice and thick, and then like comes right up to the welt and then goes back down. So what we do is we take a French tip or a toe plate, which is a metal, thin piece of metal. We notch out a groove for the front of the sole, and then we put it in there so it's countersunk. We screw it into place, and then that way when you're walking, you don't wear out the tips of your soles prematurely. Now, when done properly, you won't hear the clicking and clacking of the metal unless you're tiptoeing around. But they come in different sizes. We got the small ones for the small ones and larger ones for the wider toes. So there is also another one. It's a Triumph toe plate. This is known as a Lulu toe plate. A Triumph toe plate is brass plated steel. It's got more of a different shape. I don't have one in stock right now, but I'll put a picture up right now to show you what it is. But today we're going to be making some custom toe plates for these snakeskin Danpost cowboy boots. We're resoling them with Vibram 430 soles, and you see the biggest one that we have is too small. It's not going to fit. Now, we don't normally do these on square toes because your foot sits further up, but this customer walks really heavy on his toes and he wears out the fronts prematurely. So what I did was I ordered some brass plate. I think this is like 1/8 of an inch thick. And what we're going to do is make some custom toe plates for these boots, so this customer can get the full life out of his sole and not have to resole them every time he wears out the tips. Okay, so with these Vibram 430 soles, I'm gonna kind of follow this line right here, and that's where that will sit. So what we got to do is make a template out of some tape so that we can apply it to our brass plate. We could cut it out, we could drill our holes, and then go on from there. So we got our template put onto the brass plate. I wrote L because this is for the left boot. Those holes are where we're going to drill the holes, and so now we gotta cut it out, and then we will work on notching the front so that it'll sit flush. I know that this isn't the best setup, but I got brass plate clamped to the table. I have a jigsaw with a metal cutting blade on it. We shall see how this goes. It didn't go as bad as I thought it was going to go. Okay, now we got our template, we got our holes cut. We marked the line where we gotta cut and notch out the sole. This takes some practice. Let's make it. But you gotta cut this back piece. And cut your line. And this is how you do it with the other ones, other toe plates as well. And then, so this is about 1/8 of an inch. So I'm gonna measure like 1/8 of an inch down on the sole, and that's what we're gonna cut out. All the way around. It's really helpful when you have a really nice, sharp razor blade. It kind of cuts through it like butter. Ooh. You gotta be careful there because you can cut yourself real easy if you don't have your hand placed right. I've done that a couple times. I've learned not to do that. Okay, so we got our notch carved out. We got our toe plate shaped to size. We got our holes drilled. We had to put a little bit of a curve in there because there's a natural curve in the sole so that it sits flush in the sole. Now, before we can go ahead and attach it, we have to stitch the soles on so that this will cover the stitching. And so once the soles are stitched, we got our groove cut. We got the heels and everything back on. We got it nice and trimmed. We are ready to put on our toe plates at the front and then do our final trim. This isn't really necessary, but I like to add just a little bit of super glue before I go ahead and put on the toe plates. I mean, they're gonna be held on by screws, so it's not gonna be any issue with them coming apart or coming off. But again, anything I can do to just overkill the job is what I'll do. All right, so you see I drove the pilot hole first, and then I drove the screw in. That makes things a whole lot easier and faster. And these are brass screws. And these boots are all done now. It is really hard to center this lug pattern on square toe boots. I did the best I can. I think it looks not the best, but it looks fine. It'll be good. We got those custom brass toe plates or French tips on the fronts of the boots so that the customer doesn't prematurely wear out the tips of his boots and he can get the full life out of his soles and heels. We clean, conditioned, and polished them, and they are good to go. If you guys want to get a pair of French tips or toe plates put on your boots, I will link my website down below. Go ahead and fill out the information, pick which toe plate you want, and send them in. Thank you guys for watching. Again, I greatly appreciate it. If you like this content, subscribe, hit that like button, comment any questions you may have. And until next time, y'all, have a good day.